All right, time once again for catching up with Tommy Mack here on 1010XL's podcast platform, 1010XL.com, on Facebook. Hello, Facebook, and streaming live on the relevant app. Make sure you download the free app at Apple Store or on Google Play. It's RELEVNT, no A at the end. Just the easiest way to do a podcast. And great to have them on board. Brought to you by my good friends at Goodfellas Cigar Lounge and Spirits over off of St. John's Bluff Road. What an awesome place to catch some really cool entertainment at night. They got an awesome billiards table, first class all the way. You can go there during the day, go there at night. They got entertainment. It's rocking. Reminds me of an old Chicago blues/jazz kind of club. And anyway, make sure you check it out. I'm wearing my red, white, and blue. Happy pre-4th of July. July 4th, of course, on Monday, Independence Day, and that's what it's all about, right? We became independent way back when. I think the year was 1776, or so they tell me in the history books. But we defeated those damn Brits and took over our country. So there you have it. How you doing there, Graham Marsh, my esteemed producer?
I'm good, sir.
You all right?
How are you celebrating America's birthday?
My buddy's having a big party tomorrow. We're going to rock on the Intercoastal, and you never know what can happen from there. I think tonight I got date night. My girl's got to do stuff, so me and the wife are going to go do some stuff. And then, I don't know, on the 4th, probably go to the beach, But happy 4th, man. It's a great way to celebrate our freedom, our independence.
Will some cold beverages be consumed?
Oh, I'm ready now. If I had one in front of me, I'd be drinking it.
I love to see it.
I would, right?
Love it.
I mean, listen, on the horse's mouth, we drink beers. And it's funny, someone asked me like 2 weeks ago, like, is that real beer? I'm like, what'd you think it was? Like, I don't know. I thought maybe it was like colored water or something. No, I wouldn't do that. Real
we're
beer or
drinking
nothing.
On this show.
It's just beer. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah, beers would go well with this show. So it's July 1st. Training camp starting in 23 days for these guys here in Jacksonville. Trust me, as a former player, that goes by like that. It'll go by so fast. You think it's like, oh, they got 3 weeks. Next thing you know, they'll be running the conditioning tests if they still do that. And they'll be like, oh, my God, I can't believe I'm back in camp. Just 2 weeks ago, I was fly fishing in the mountains or whatever you're doing in your off time. But it got me thinking to like training camp stories, that and just NFL, right? Of course, I don't even know if I go that far back in college and high school although I remember in high school, we'd do 3-a-days. Remember, I don't know if you remember the day, like we used to fill up we'd clean out a milk carton, a gallon milk carton, fill it with water, throw it in the freezer overnight, and sip on that thing throughout 3-a-days because the ice would turn it, you know what I mean? Turn into water.
Yeah.
Cold as can be. Oh, man, it's unbelievable. Take a couple of salt pills. But I was thinking back to, like, training camp in the NFL. So my first training camp was in 93 with the New Orleans Saints, and it was up in Wisconsin.
Yeah.
And we were loaded with talent. I mean, our linebacker room was sick. We had 2 all-pro players in Sammy Mills and Vaughn Johnson. Vaughn Johnson, he was one of the biggest, most impressive linebackers I'd ever seen at the time. Now, this is 1993. He's already been a Pro Bowler and an All-Pro. They had the quartet of Pat Swilling, Ricky Jackson, Vaughn Johnson, Sammy Mills. They were all Pro Bowlers at one time. When I got there in 93, Swilling had left. He played outside anyway, so he wouldn't have been in the same room, on the inside of linebackers. But I can remember I had to sing a song. And I didn't want to sing. Like back then I wasn't, that outgoing. Yeah, no, I wasn't.
Leader of the dad bods?
I know. It sounds crazy. Like, you think I'd go up there. So I'm sitting there, and I'm like, I never memorized my school fight song. I still don't know. I know it starts off with For Boston, but after that, I can't remember any of it.
Oh, I got Florida forwards and backwards.
Do you?
Absolutely.
Well, you're a better alumni for your school than I am for mine, I guess.
No, that's not true. You bled and sweat for Boston College.
Yeah, and I'm a Hall of Famer, too, for Boston College. But no, anyway, I should remember it even more so. But I remember it came down to, like, all right, the last couple weeks, and I had to sing. It was at lunch, and I had to get up on a table. And it wasn't totally packed. It was kind of packed. And Vaughn Johnson was in the crowd. He had the biggest melon to his shave, too. He was an imposing dude. I mean, he was big, taller than me by like a good inch. He was way bigger. I mean, and he could cover, back then, remember the Smurfs, the little wide receivers? He could cover them all over the field. He was so athletic. He could hit like a freight train. He could run like the wind. He was big. He could do it all. So I was like intimidated by him at first because They don't talk to you at first. The first thing Vaughn Johnson ever said to me was in the locker room, and he said, hey, Tommy, lean down. We're getting ready for practice. Now, I had a crew cut. I didn't have a shaved head, but I had a crew cut, like a buzz cut. And he leans over and he goes, hey, Tom. I said, yes, Vaughn. He goes, either shave your head or I'm gonna. Said, okay, no problem. I went into the training room. I said, can I borrow a pair of clippers? They said, yeah. I went into the bathroom. I probably had spots and all that
That's
crazy
awesome.
stuff. But anyway, I get up to sing, and I sing at a slower rate, they call it a down set, I think, or down note, whatever. Bruce Springsteen's Hungry Heart. Got a wife and kid in Baltimore, Jack. Anyway, Vaughn Johnson, in the middle of lunch, and then my son goes, sing it, Tom. Like, he's like, sing it, Tom. I was like, man, that was pretty cool. Anyway, but my favorite story with Vaughn Johnson.
That's how the dad bod.
So I got to keep this clean. So I will. So we're walking back from a meeting, and we played. I played in 4 or 5 games. We went to Japan for the All-American Bowl. That was our first game. It sucked. I've already told that story. But it's probably like late in camp, and I think I survived the first cut, I believe, because we got cut I got cut in New Orleans. We'd already flown back for the final game. It was on Monday Night Football. So I made that first cut. So Vaughn and I are walking back from meetings, and he's starting to talk to me. Like, that's how veterans are. Like, they don't, especially the rookie free agents that may not make the team, they don't, like, befriend them right away until they think maybe you got a shot. So anyway, he told me, he's like, man, I think you got a good shot of making this club. And he starts giving me this sex talk. And yeah, like about, being careful out there. And Tom, they're going to, here I am. No,
I thought you meant he's giving you the birds and the bees.
No, not that. But
What?
he's talking about basically sex in the NFL. Like, and I better be careful, and I better be protected, and they're going to try everything. They're going to throw. And here I am sitting. I'm 23 years old. This guy's like 30. He's giving me this life lesson. And I'm just sitting there going, this is really surreal that Vaughn Johnson's giving me a talk about women in the NFL. He's like, they're going to throw it at you, Tom. I'm telling you, and if you don't protect yourself, I'm going to be really pissed. They're going to try everything. It was just a bizarre moment. I was like, okay, Vaughn, thanks. See you tomorrow. I'm going to go to my dorm. Tell my roommates about it. But he was great. That was fantastic. The Jags was fun. Look, they made a really big mistake when they put me and Pete Mitchell when we moved back to first year was in Wisconsin. The second year and from then on was in Jacksonville. We stayed at the old Radisson, which is now called something different, on the South Bank, though. And they made a big mistake putting us near the freight elevator. Because after curfew, and I know Coach Coughlin knows this because he had moles, so I'm not afraid to say it publicly, but I would sneak out quite often during camp. I would. Especially if we had, like, maybe that next morning was just special teams or I didn't have to be there that early. I'd go back to the beach. I would, get out of there. I wouldn't go out, So, just get out of the hotel.
Just go to dinner or something?
What's that?
Just go to dinner or something or what?
No, I'd go back to my place and have food there and, hang out,
okay. Yeah.
that kind of thing.
So you lived at the beach at the time, too?
Oh, yeah, I did. Yeah.
So you just go home. Just chill for a bit.
Yeah, pretty much, but I wasn't allowed to sneak out, but I would sneak out quite a bit. It was hard to stay in that hotel room at that age. I'm 26, playing in the NFL. Got a chance. Anyway, I know I wasn't the only one that snuck out because there were other guys that snuck out as well. Training camp was fun in the sense that there was always a story. There was always something going on, just from guys singing, guys not wanting to sing, guys calling out other players, guys, having pranks. They would do the rookie show. The rookie show was always funny. Training camp, though, is interesting because you do get there's a point in camp, I think every player, it creeps into their mind, like, do I really want to do this? Now, granted, maybe today the money's so great that never comes into mind.
And training camp's not what it was, too.
No, training camp today's a piece of cake. I mean, that's easy. One practice a day. Goodness gracious, that'd be great. Now, they will have meetings at night, from what I'm told, so Doug will keep a wrap on them. You can't let guys out at 7 during camp. You can't. That's not training camp. Training camp's got to be challenging because you're building that core philosophy of what your team is going to be.
Well, it's kind of tough to keep everybody around when the coach is trying to be at Taco Lou by a certain time.
Well, and he's not a good example, obviously,
right.
Leaving early and all that kind of stuff, and Urban Meyer, but, you know, you got to go through that rigor. It does give you grit. It does give you mettle for your team. You figure out, you're tired in a game. You're tired. What are you going to do? Are you going to stay tired, or are you going to go make a play? It's like during camp. There are times during camp you wake up or you get out to the practice field and you just feel like crap. Your bones hurt. Everything's tight. Your hamstrings are tight. Your calves are tight. Your neck's sore. You didn't sleep very good. You got a headache, right? You know you got to hit that day. You know you got to go full speed. You know, but it's good for you. It's really good for you. And then keeping them on the wraps because I think they should find, like, they kept us till 10, and then that was, I don't think that was very conducive. 3 hours of meetings after 2 practices a day and other meetings and other work. You know what I mean? Like, you got to cut that a little bit, but I know Urban was letting them out at like 7, and that's not really training camp. You know, you got to, there's something about working through it. You know, I liked when I never had to shave. That was nice. Or if I did shave, it would be with the clippers. Like, would never get a real shave because I hated the way the chin strap felt, like little things. You think that's nothing, but little things like that, you think back and you're like, yeah, just that, because then you didn't have to worry about ever shaving, and just, you can kind of be a little nasty, a little gruffy, a little, you don't have to see the girlfriend, you don't have to see the family, although I was sneaking out. But but you know what I'm saying. You don't have to do any of that, and that's the time to really, you're either making the team, or you're trying to win a starting job, or you're trying to keep your position. So it's not, again, it is a little different, but I'm looking forward to, and I'm not going to be out at camp a lot. I'll be out a little bit, but I'm looking forward to seeing the kind of camp Doug Peterson runs. How physical are they going to be? How much conditioning are they going to do? I think, look, I would condition my guys a lot. You have to be in shape. And just running through practice, although I know as players we don't like conditioning at the end. I didn't either, but it's a necessary evil. You got to do it. You got to run those gassers, man. You got to run for time. You got to be, pressured into making those times. If you don't make them, you got to run extra. I mean, you got to be in great, great, great shape. And especially since I can't hit as much, which means I can't be as physical as much, I'm running even more. My guys are going to be flying all game long. I don't care how hot it is. I don't care how cold it is. I don't care how rainy it is. My guys are going to be in great condition. And I think Doug will have that. I do.
Great defenses in today's NFL without elite conditioning and elite speed don't exist. Mm-mm. You have to, especially. Let me tell you something.
As a guy that's been on the opposite end of long drives, when your legs go, your mind goes, and then it's over. Then they're going to run all over you. It's true. You'll take on a block and you won't even have any power. You won't. Your legs are gone. You like it's weird, and then your mind goes, and all you think about is how tired you are when you're tired. And you gotta make sure your team is never in that position. Now, sometimes, look, 13, 14, 15 play drive, you're going to be tired. But you can't do back-to-back-to-back of those. That's really challenging. But conditioning is key. And if it was my team, I'd make sure they are absolutely conditioned. And again, as players, we hated it. We did. I had a good system, though. I knew how to, to work it a little bit, with Coughlin and the strength coach. Like, we used to do these gassers, so you'd have to go there, back, across the field, 50s, right? So I would just go as hard as I could there, back, make the turn really hard, and then halfway through the third, I just, coast in a little bit. You don't have to finish first every time, but you got to be able to do it, and they would. They would push us pretty hard. All right, July 4th coming up. It's one of my favorite holidays. I think of my father. I think of all the great veterans. I think of our troops, our first responders, our police. I think of our Coast Guard, our firefighters, anybody and everybody that puts their life first, because especially our military, because let's be honest, if we didn't have them and that strength, and if we didn't win the battles that we won way back when, we wouldn't be a free country. And again, you could make an argument here and there that we're not that free anyway, but we're a lot freer than most nations. And that's what Independence Day is all about for me. Look, we've got our issues. There's no doubt about it. They're out on the forefront and plaguing our society. But at the end of the day, we live in a great country. We live in a great nation, and we are free. You're free to choose, for the most part, what you want to do. Not in everything, but for the most part. And you don't get that everywhere in the world. So, when I think of Independence Day, when I look at the flag and I say thank you to my dad and all those soldiers and all the troops today and all the military men and women, that's what it means to me. Now, I'm going to be cracking open beers. I'm going to be having a blast because I'll celebrate my freedom. I'll celebrate the independence that we fought for and continue to fight for. So, whether you believe or agree with me or not, that's okay. It's a free country. But at the end of the day, that's what I celebrate on the 4th of July. I wish I had America the Beautiful to play you out, because normally I would do that. Ray Charles, if you get a chance, check out Ray Charles's rendition of America the Beautiful, and it'll put a smile on your face. Until next time, stay safe and be cool out there, man. We'll see you right here on Catching Up with Tommy Mac, streaming on the Relevant app, RELEVNT. Check us out. We got so much programming on the Jaguars Fanatics channel, Tyson's Topics, Weedopedia, you name it. It's all there on the free app, and a great place to launch your podcasting career or just endeavor or just hobby. Of course, Ben here on 1010XL's podcast platform, 1010XL.com. And, of course, on Facebook. Today's show brought to you by our friends at Goodfellas Cigar Lounge and Spirits, as well as the Wealth Advisory Team of Bruss Nutter in Ponte Vedra Beach. All right, we'll see you next time. Have a great weekend. Peace.